welcome back to my channel, Life Enthusiast CEO. And today we're going to be talking about foundation for different skin types. What's the basic 4 skin types, and then we're going to talk about like the subcategories where people may have like dry skin or sensitive skin or anti-aging. So like all of those subcategories that go after like the 4 different skin types, because you could have normal skin but have like anti-aging things going on with your skin. So we're going to talk about some of those things. We're going to talk about undertones and what type of foundation to use for those undertones, whether you have like an olive undertone or if you have like rosacea, which means that you have like red skin blotches and different things on your skin like that. We're going to talk about some items that are non-comedogenic, which means that it's a product that is specifically formulated to not clog your pores. We're going to go over different uneven textures and how to combat them, like what's best to use for whether it be a cream foundation or a powder foundation. We're going to go over applications, and we're going to go over what's the difference between using a beauty blender and using a brush, or even using your hand, because sometimes depending on the effect that you're trying to get or it's a specific area that you're trying to reach, you will really need to use your hand. So let's get into it. Foundations for different skin types, the basic 4 types, and a couple of the subcategories. There are 4 basic types of healthy skin. It would be normal, dry, oily, and combination. Then you have subcategories where you need to explain things like clogged pores, severe breakouts, anti-aging, sensitive skin, skin that have like red circles and things on it as rosacea, and then if you're really dehydrated, it's considered to have tired skin. The most common skin type is combination. Dry skin is a lot thinner. The pores are smaller, but the fine lines and wrinkles are more exaggerated. Oily skin has larger pores and is thicker. This provides a lot of cushion to the skin. Here we get into our skin undertones. You have warm, cool, neutral, or olive. So if you have warm undertones, it's more of a peachy yellow or gold. If you have a cooler undertone, it's pink or blue. And if you have a neutral undertone, it's tan or gray. Then when you have an olive undertone, it usually have like an orange or an olive bluish gray look to it. The way to be able to determine what your undertones are is if you turn either of your wrists over and look at the vein color that's actually running through your hands. There are 7 facts to consider when you're choosing your foundation. Choosing a foundation, according to experts, it should be 1 or 2 shades lighter, because when you apply bronzer or a contour, it blends for a more natural look. So your first thing would be to identify your skin type and choose a brand of foundation based on any skin issues that you may be having. When it comes to how you determine your skin's undertone, you want to look at the warm, neutral, and cool. So I created a little chart here for you, so take a minute to really understand what your undertone would be. Your third option is choosing which foundation formula actually works best for you. If you have a liquid foundation, it should preferably be oil-free. That is great for sensitive skin. If you have a cream foundation, that's great for skin that's prone to a bunch of breakouts. A powder foundation is usually good for oily complexions, but avoid if you're overly dry because it'll just continue to dry you out. A professional tip, your powder turns darker when it gets wet. So in hotter climates, try not to do a powder. You also want to look for non-comedogenic products. It means that a product is specifically formulated to not clog your pores. Also, anything with salicylic acid in its formula, they have active ingredients that help you fight acne. When you have a combination skin, you want to make sure that it's oil in your foundation. It really helps. It's primarily though for moisturizing and anti-aging. Number 4, what are your coverage needs? Do you want a full coverage, or you just want to put enough makeup on your face to like cover a blemish? When you're dealing with something that has max coverage, you want to choose a lighter foundation with a good tinted moisturizer. If you want minimal coverage, you want to choose a medium coverage foundation, what makes it easier to build fuller coverage on top of it. When you're dealing with texture issues like acne or rosacea, you want to make sure that you have something that has a silicone base in your moisturizer, and primer helps a lot with that. It helps to smooth out the skin prior to foundation being applied. A pro tip is address your skin issues separately and treat your skin as you layer your regimen. So you want to make sure that you're doing preventative measures before you actually are applying foundations, especially when you have skincare issues. Also, if you have breakout prone skin, sometimes you can use a concealer as a foundation. It gives you like a nice sheer look. You're able to actually blend better when you use like a concealer versus a foundation. If you take your beauty blender and dampen it just a little bit, so you would want to take like a spray bottle and just spray a little bit of water. Also, because during the summertime it's really hot outside and you're going to like cookouts or hanging out with your friends, that's a really good option too, is to use just your concealer as your foundation. You can still get coverage, but you won't be as hot. To figure out what works best for you, make sure that you shop and get samples. Giorgio Armani has really good things. Maybelline, Shiseido, Synchro Skin is good. NARS, MAC, and Fenty. And number 7, application is key. You can make your foundation look heavier or lighter depending on how you apply it. If you apply it with a brush, you can get more coverage, but you'll end up using way more product than you should be. If you use a beauty blender, make sure you spray it with a light mist of water. Don't run it under the sink because it'll make it too wet. You don't want it to be sopping wet. You want a nice little dampness to it. You're only adding the moisture because the beauty blender will give you a more sheer coverage for a more natural look. If you use your hands or your fingertips when you're trying to hit a specific area versus another, if you know that you have like 2 bumps under your left eye, you maybe want to apply your foundation or your concealer with your fingertips just in those 2 spots so it can really be covered. So a couple of recommendations that I have for you is that if you have what's considered normal skin, then use a liquid cream or powder. If you have dry skin, use a liquid foundation. If you have oily skin, use a powder or a matte. Combination skin, use a full matte foundation. If you have sensitive skin, use a liquid foundation. If you have breakout prone skin, use a cream based foundation. And then if you have like acne skin where you're using things that have added salicylic acid, then you would want to use a powder foundation. Here you have a chart of the dermatologist's top 4 recommendations based off of your skin type, which is combination, dry, acne or oily, normal skin, sensitive skin, or breakout prone skin. So these are just a suggestion. You still need to go shopping and see what works for you. So take a minute, look it over, see what you may be interested in even trying. Do your research before you purchase anything. Some makeup come with SPF already in it, which is sun protection factor. It's the amount of time the sunscreen will protect your skin while you're in the sun. So if you have SPF 15, that is the equivalent coverage for 150 minutes, which is 2.5 hours that you could be in the sun. However, it only covers 93% of the UV rays. If you have SPF 30, then you're able to be in the sun for 300 minutes, which is 5 hours. So that will work really good if you just want to go out onto the beach for a little bit, and it covers 96.7% of the UV rays. If you do anything that has SPF 50 in it, then you can go into the sun for 500 minutes, which roughly gives you 8.5 hours, and that covers 98% of the UV rays. But what you always want to consider is the longer that you're in the sun, it can cause not only different skin cancers, nothing gives you 100% protection from the sun. So you want to make sure you're not in the sun for long hours at a time, because that can cause wrinkles, and it can also cause you to have crow's feet, which are like the wrinkles that are just around the corners of your eyes. If you damage the top layer of your skin from the sun and you don't have the proper protection on your face, then you can cause yourself to not only look older from the premature wrinkles, you can also cause your skin to go from maybe combination or normal to dry or even sensitive, because you're ruining that top layer of skin. So you want to consider all of those factors when you're deciding to maybe go to the beach, sunbathe, or just walking outside with sunglasses on. So hopefully you was able to learn something about choosing a foundation. I could be found on Instagram, here on YouTube, or you could email me if you have any questions about something that you heard or read on here at lifeenthusiastceo@gmail.com. So, what did y'all think about the video? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, send me an email. This particular foundation episode was based off of somebody sending in a request, so I appreciate the request. If there's anything else that you could think of that you want to learn, like, comment, subscribe, hit me on my email, lifeenthusiastceo@gmail.com. Have a good one.